Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I thought I wanted to make a video since it seems like CM Punk is the hot topic that everybody wants to talk tonight, since he's on the Talking Dead show with Chris Hardwick, talking it up, doing his best to live his life outside of WWE, and just basically just give my thoughts on if I think CM Punk is ever going to come back. CM Punk made his thoughts known throughout the Money in the Bank 2011 push, and on his Best in the World DVD, that the day that CM Punk, hangs it up is the day that CM Punk hangs it up. He's not going to be that guy like Mick Foley, just wanting to come back at the end of his career 1,000 times to get that one last payday. He's not going to prostitute his name out there in order to, make sure that he gets that last little bit of money out of wrestling that he can. I'm not even 100% sure if, we really get to see CM Punk doing a lot of autograph signings. I know I've talked in depth 1,000 times about my horrible experience at SummerSlam. Was that 2012, I believe it was? Oh, man. I'm glad that I met him, to say that I met him and have the story that I have, but at the same time, it was like, God, I wasted that fucking $100. And I'll waste $100 again on something more stupid than that. But I mean, like, I just can't believe it that that horrible thing happened to me. But honestly, in my one opinion, I believe that Vince has a way of making sure that everybody comes back. When Stone Cold left in 2002 or whatever it was, Stone Cold pretty much dug his feet in the sand. If there was a Facebook, if there was a MySpace, if there was a Twitter, if there was some way for him to get his voice out there for everyone to hear what he said, I'm sure he was saying the same damn thing, that, Vince and the writers and the writing staff and everybody, basically they were fucking Stone Cold. That he felt like they were trying to put him in a box, trying to push him down, trying to not let him be the star that he thought he was going to be. He talks about this in depth on his podcast. Almost honestly, about every week he brings this story up about 2002, because as big as a star as Stone Cold Steve Austin was, the one thing that's in everybody's mind is when he took his ball and went home. That, it sucks, but it's like, it's one of those stories that people remember more than anything. People remember that more than, his big win over Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. People remember it more than Owen Hart, and the botched move in the ring at SummerSlam that broke his neck. Of all the cool stuff, him running over the Rock's car in the parking lot, him filling up Vince's Corvette with cement. Honestly, when you talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin, the one thing people, really think about more than anything is, him walking out. And he talks about it on his show almost every week. He brings it up in his ads that he talks about when he's trying to get you to buy that, GoToMeeting.com or whatever it is, trying to get you to have face-to-face. He always used that as like, if him and Vince could have looked and seen each other through their iPhones or whatever they would have been using back then, during the day in 2002, he would have been able to see, Stone Cold when he said, yeah, I'll be there, meant like, yeah, fuck off, I'm going home. But what really else is out there from CM Punk, is there for him to do? Do you really see him walking on to a TV set and becoming some sort of TV star? I know that worked out for Edge. He wasn't really looking for it, but now he's sort of like this sort of guy who's got a show on the Sci-Fi Network that I don't hear anybody ever really talk about, but it's got good enough ratings, I guess, for Sci-Fi that they keep it around for more than one seasons, and they pump him out where he goes on Raw to try and push it, once or twice a year. If you think about, somebody going into movies, of course, there's always The Rock. You can look like that and say, The Rock was able to go in there, but I don't think CM Punk's going to be able to do that. 1,000 other guys have tried to go into movies, like Rob Van Dam and Batista, and, they just find these straight-to-DVD sort of movies, or you get, like, maybe you're in a good movie, like Stone Cold Steve Austin gets a lot of these straight-to-DVD roles, and then on the side he might get a walk-on part on like a Grown Ups 2 or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's a role that's not really remembered, that's not really going to help him get another role down the line. People have thought maybe of going into stand-up comedy, or sort of, the road shows is something that he could do. Like you've seen Mick Foley have a lot of, success doing this. Jim Ross is getting into it. Jim Cornette's overseas, I think, doing that right now. Just have to see if he really wants to stand up there and do that. It doesn't seem like he really wants to be treated like a zoo animal, in his own words, and have everybody stare and look at him. I think CM Punk's going to be one of those guys who just sort of, I don't want to say like change his appearance, but find some way to just fall back into the middle of nothing and try to be as much of a normal human being as possible. Whatever that does for him. I know his girlfriend is AJ Lee, who's in the WWE now, so he has to be sort of into what, you know, she's doing, but at the same time, not really trying to help out the company at the same time. It sucks for him, because, I mean, according to Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he talks about the topic, you know, if he really left and he really breached his contract the way that he did it in 2002, Punk's not going to see another dime from WWE. You know, by now they've already cut him off on his, his downsides guarantee. He's not going to get a dime on any T-shirt sales from here on out. Every single time you see CM Punk on the WWE Network, he would be getting some sort of a royalty check off of that, and that's never going to show up at his door. Just, they could use his image to the day he dies, and there's nothing they could do about it. They could put his face on 16 DVDs that come out, and they don't got to pay him for it. I mean, like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy that somebody like this could walk out. But I think that there's going to come a day, there's going to come a time that CM Punk will come back to WWE. And what that's going to be is up to him. Is he just want to do the thing like Bret Hart did, where he just comes back to say he came back, and he just does Monday Night Raw once or twice here or there, and he's just a guy that's inside the WWE family, so Vince can give him a little bit of money, just have some sort of a Legends contract or something like that, or does he really want to get in the ring and really compete and live off the high of, you know, like a WrestleMania or a pay-per-view or a Monday Night Raw crowd all cheering for him or booing for him and just falling into his character? You got to give it up to CM Punk. The one thing he did more than anything else is really have fans believe in what he's doing. I mean, there's so many people that go out there, like Randy Orton, and it doesn't matter if when he was a babyface in 2010, as much as I hated it, people loved that motherfucker, and I don't even know why. But, as a heel, he's just the guy walking around with the championship right now. If it wasn't for the belt, nobody would care about this guy. He'd just be going around bouncing off mid-card feud with Sheamus, mid-card show with Big Show, mid-card feud with Rey Mysterio, having matches on pay-per-view that every once in a while might surprise you and be good. But if it wasn't for him being the champion since, TLC, but he was a champion before TLC. Whenever he won that belt from Daniel Bryan, who gives a fuck about that dude? But CM Punk, if he's a babyface, he has a way of making every single person in that arena love that guy and really cheering for, the underdog as they sort of book him, even though he's sort of supposed to be like the best in the world wrestler that they have. Or if, he's a heel, making him the most hated guy in the company that, will do anything in the world. Back in 2010, he was in this group of people that was sort of like some sort of like cult with the straight edge society, and it made every single person, there was people who really loved the guy, but I mean, there was also 1,000 other people who didn't know who the fuck he was and really thought he was Marilyn Manson. So, I mean, like, you gotta give it up to the guy for really being a guy that really gets into his roles and it makes you believe in what he's doing. But I just don't know what there is to be out there for. Going out there and being a UFC host or a UFC commentator or something like that, it's almost like anybody else. So they gotta really bring in somebody like that and just hope that they're able to get people to believe in what they're doing. If you're a company like UFC, do you just bring him in hoping that WWE fans follow behind him? And is an announcer really going to be enough to build a buy rate? And help out? I don't know. But I mean, maybe he's just the guy who's just going to tell Dana White that he loves UFC so much that he's going to do whatever he has to do to help the company, and he doesn't need a huge, big money contract in order to do it. So I got no clue. But let me know what you guys think after the watching the Talking Dead tonight. Do you think Punk's coming back, or do you think Punk's just going to sit back for the next 20, 30 years and just live his life in obscurity and just fade off into the middle of nowhere? Peace out.